Well, this week marks the first day of spring, so it's time to start dusting off your gear and getting ready for those outdoor gigs. What are the essential pieces of gear that you need for this year's outdoor show season? Let's find out. What's going on, everybody? My name is Adam. I hope you're doing well. I can't speak for your neck of the woods, but here in the southern US, it's starting to warm up and patio season is imminent, which means that things are about to get very busy for a lot of working musicians. As we prepare to get back into the swing of playing outdoors, I thought it was a good opportunity to go over what I consider the 10 essential items you need to bring to any outdoor show. Now, I'm not talking about obvious things like guitar and PA and that kind of thing. I'm talking about all of the other stuff that may make your next show more enjoyable for you, while also being potentially more lucrative for future gigs. Before we get into this list though, if you're a musician looking to make good money playing music, you are in the right place. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you don't miss anything. Just to note, these items are not in any particular order and this isn't some kind of ranking list. These are just things that me and the Patreon community agreed were good items to throw in your car for your next show. If you have a particular item that you pack for every gig, leave a comment and let me know what your go-to gear is. Also, when possible, I will include links for any of the items I mentioned. Just note they may be affiliate links which help support the channel. Okay, first things first, you may want to consider load-in attire. Granted, this is a creative way to avoid saying stage clothes, which kind of feels cringe when you're talking about things like solo acoustic gigs. But when you're doing a longer outdoor set, you're going to need to show up early and haul all of your gear in. Doing so will probably make you super sweaty, and if you roll up to the venue wearing the shirt you plan on playing in, it may not be a really good look. So I would suggest opting for a plain t-shirt to load in and set up, and then when it's time to start performing, either put a shirt on over it or swap it out with a completely different one. Another great item to pack for outdoor gigs is an air mover. Note, I did not say fan. Fans are great, but they tend to be big, awkward to pack, and not cut out for throw and go gigging. Air movers are a totally different beast. You're typically only going to find these things at places like Home Depot or Lowe's, but they're compact, rugged, and can push a considerable amount of air at you while you play, which can help keep you cool. Most of them also have surge protected outlets on them, which may simplify your stage setup. I literally have one of these for every member of my band, and unless it's 55 degrees or lower, I bring one to every show I play. Usually I'll put it behind me pointing straight at my back, and they are an absolute must if you play outdoors in the summer heat. Since we're on the topic of the heat and the outdoors, you should always pack sun protection. Depending on the venue or the time of day, you may find yourself performing in direct sunlight for a portion, if not all of your show. If I'm gonna be outdoors, I'm more than likely going to bring a hat, a pair of sunglasses, a bottle of sunscreen, and if I've never played the venue before or I'm doing an outdoor event, I may even go so far as to bring a canopy tent with me. Being hot is bad enough, but getting sunburned or heat stroke is just not worth it. And a great way to prevent things like heat stroke is a reusable water bottle. Yeah, most places are going to have water, but asking for one in the middle of the set or while you're loading in isn't always feasible, so I just bring this aluminum one with me. It holds 40 ounces of water, keeps it cool, and it's just easy to grab when I need it. If you don't have one of these, I highly recommend it. I literally use this one every single day. On the other end of being at Mother Nature's mercy is the potential of getting rained on, so I would always suggest packing a tarp. Or 3. Now, I've tried this a bunch of different ways, but my preferred method is to get a bunch of smaller tarps to cover individual pieces of gear versus one big tarp that covers everything. Smaller tarps are a lot easier to handle and fold up, and they take up way less space in your trunk. Typically, I'll roll with one specifically for my pedal board and maybe one or two others for things like speakers, the mixer, that kind of thing. And they just live in my car. I never leave home without them. Next on my packing list are my smartphone and tablet holders. I haven't used paper charts in a number of years, so having a really solid tablet mount is essential. For my iPad, I'm using the IK Multimedia iClip Expand, which I've mentioned in other videos. It's rock solid and it holds it great even with an OtterBox case on it. I use my phone for text requests and also to live stream sometimes, and I really like these friction mounts that I got on Amazon. I clamp this side to my mic stand, and once these are torqued down, they're super solid so that I can interact with my phone without having to pull it out of my pocket in between songs. The next one is really important. You should pack a tip jar. Most venues will have one laying around, but I don't want to leave anything to chance. This one is a literal trash can I bought at Walmart. As you can tell, this is the one for the 80s band. But for gigs that are a little more formal or don't need a super obvious tip jar solution, I got this guy, which is basically just like a metal bucket. It's a tad bit more subtle, let's say. Now, I know a majority of folks don't carry cash anymore, but I thought of that too. Right next to my tip jar, I hang this sign. That QR code opens up to a custom landing page on my website, which includes my song list, social media accounts, booking information, as well as my PayPal and Venmo accounts. It also has a link to a Google Voice number that I use for text requests so that I'm not handing out my phone number to complete strangers. If you haven't seen this before, I actually did a full video that kind of breaks this whole thing down. So if that's interesting for you, go check that out. I'll make sure that there's a link in the description. If this kind of setup isn't a part of your rig, I would suggest looking into it, but either way, you need some kind of marketing materials, promo, or business cards to hand out at your shows. Playing out is the best way to advertise your services, and having a way for people to get in touch with you is absolutely essential if you want to start doing things like private events. Okay, on a completely different note, your solo acoustic gigs or outdoor shows are usually going to be 2 to 4 hours long, and you're usually going to be standing on a concrete slab or like a hard wooden stage. Above all, you need a comfortable pair of shoes to perform in. For any event that isn't super formal, I prefer to wear Vans, and specifically I'm a fan of the Ultra Range series. They're super lightweight, really comfortable, have great support, and honestly are just my favorite pair of shoes at the moment. I have them in like 3 different colors. I just swap them out so I don't wear them out all the time. And last but certainly not least, you need to bring redundant accessories. Now, when I'm talking about redundant accessories, I'm specifically referring to things like cables, guitar picks, batteries. There's nothing worse than driving across town only to find out that the mic cable you brought was bad, or that the battery in your preamp has died. Just to be on the safe side, I suggest packing backups of as many components of your live rig as possible. Now, there's definitely such thing as overkill, but I've never regretted packing extra strings or cables to a gig. I've also been in situations where a musician is close by and needs one of the things that I brought, and look, good karma goes a long way. Okay guys, so there you have it. Those are my 10 essential items to pack for your next outdoor show. Did I leave anything out? Leave a comment below and let me know what you would pick. That's gonna do it for this week. Once again, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We post new videos here every single Friday. And if you haven't already, go check out the Cover Band Confidential podcast. We're at over 200 episodes covering all kinds of things like song selection, how to market yourself, and other ways that you can make good money playing music. Have an awesome week, and we'll see you next time.